Good morning and welcome to Whiteboard Wednesdays. My name is Becc Holland. I'm the Regional Vice President of Business Development for Track by G2 Crowd. Little one-liner on us. We are a way for CFOs and CIOs to spring clean their tech stack. So basically, surface SaaS that their team isn't using, what SaaS is their team using, what SaaS is their team not using, where were they oversold licenses, where do they have redundant functionality, basically a way for them to consolidate down to what their team actually needs and uses. Today, I wanted to cover the two different qualification processes for leads to help boost conversion and also help on the user experience end of the lead coming through the funnel. So without further ado, let's kick it off. I wanted to focus our time into two different processes. Outbound and inbound. From a high level here, the goal is to get qualified appointments. Quality and qualified appointments for AEs. And when it comes to AEs, they usually don't care what channel it came through. So you need to know that, base level of the account executives are just looking for more leads and better leads. But as far as which channel and which process you deploy, I don't think it matters too much to them, what the user experience is here. But in my experience, one of the low-hanging fruit and one of the things that I see sales development programs struggling with is they try to deploy the same type of process for both of these leads, even though they're completely different scenarios in both of these. So for inbound leads, these are people that your marketing team has done a great job of tilling up the market, communicating the value of what your product does, and it causes prospective buyers to come to your website, some traffic to come there, and a lot of times they hit the request a demo button. So these are very, very high priority leads. These are people that are coming into your boat and you want to quickly figure out, and the goal of this is to quickly figure out whether this is an actual prospective buyer and this is someone that your AE needs to spend their time on, or whether this is someone that you just want to communicate the value of your product, but they aren't a sincere buyer. So the three different cases of what comes through the inbound line is highly qualified buyer. So this is someone who requests a demo, who is the absolute, the epitome of who you want to be selling to. So maybe this is for Track, for instance, this is a CFO for someone who's looking to scale down their tech stack. So in this case, if I'm a very highly qualified buyer and I come to the website, of your product and I hit request a demo, if the normal user flow is I then get followed up with by an SDR and then I jump on a short qualifying call with this SDR thinking that this is a demo, when it's not, it's just a 5-minute qualifying call, then I'm pretty mad in this case, because I'm someone who has money, I'm someone who has budget, I'm someone who has authority, and all I really, really want to do is to know what your product is and how it works. And so in this case scenario, you really you want to get this person into an appointment as quickly as possible. So the way that I've done this in the past is basically you can use a data enrichment provider of when someone requests a demo, then it can backfill, hey, this is your title and this is the amount of people that we think you have at your company. Do we get this correct? And if they hit confirm, then you can just dump them into an AE calendar and have them schedule some time directly. That is ideal. But if not, if maybe you're in the nascent stages of your organization, you're just getting things off the ground, I would have, in all cases, this person, go to the calendar of the SDR directly. They set up a 15-minute qual call. And I, as an SDR, whenever I see all of my calendar updates for the week, if I see all these people who want to talk about my product, when I'm going through and doing my research, I would research all of these calendar updates before I talk to them. And if I see that it's a very highly qualified buyer, I see this as a CFO for someone who's an enterprise org, then I go ahead and I just update the details to a longer conversation. I add the AE and I add a calendar time link. So in any case scenario, you want this person to not jump on a qualifying call with an SDR, because this is someone, I don't care if this person wants to talk to me about the weather. If they are the right person and they are C-level and they are at a good size organization, I don't care what they want to talk to my account executive about, even if it's about something that's a little one-off. This gives a good introduction at the base level. You know, everything else aside, this gives a really good introduction of the AE to someone who is a really highly qualified buyer. So I want to do everything that I can to go ahead and get them in the funnel and get them into an appointment with an AE. The second type of buyer is someone that's very, very questionable buyer intent. And the third one is probably not a buyer. And again, the SDR can look through their calendar and they can do some research and figure out, you know, is this a highly qualified buyer? Or is this someone where I'm not sure, maybe the org size is questionable, or maybe the level of the title of the person is really questionable, maybe they're an intern, you know, or maybe both. You know, I think in 98% chance this is someone who cannot buy my product. In both of these case scenarios, I have them route straight to an SDR calendar, and I have the SDR jump on the call and ask a lot of qualifying questions, you know, maybe 4 or 5 on what size of organization are you, you know, how did you come across our product? And basically the important piece in this process is that right up front for the call, I would have the SDR basically say a upfront contract. That's a Sandler term, Sandler seller methodology term. But an upfront contract saying, hey, you know, thanks so much for requesting a demo. As far as our time today, I just wanted to ask you a few questions and get you to the right person. Does that sound fair? You know, so I would lay out the agenda for the person so they're not confused that they're getting a demo, that you're telling them right up front, I want to ask you a couple of questions so that I can get you to the right person. I can route you to the right, you know, the right person for either a demo or maybe a webinar, a general product webinar. But you want to be very clear with your buyer here so that they're not confused of what the agenda of the call is, so they don't think that they're getting into they're getting into an actual demo. Here I see a lot of prospects asking SDRs questions. What about pricing? What about, you know, deployment, X, Y, and Z, very AE related questions. And I always train my SDR to basically say, can I level with you? I'm a little bit newer here, and I want I want someone who's qualified to answer those questions. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and put those questions top of mind for your call with the AE on Wednesday. Does that sound fair? So again, your bar here, the only goal in here is for the SDR to basically qualify that this person could buy, but to not actually close them themselves. So here is a qual call. You have a 15-minute, I would say 15-minute on the high end. You should not need any more time than that to jump on and ask these questions to your buyer. So that is the inbound line. Again, these are fish that are jumping in your boat that you're trying to figure out, is this someone that we can talk to and get them into an appointment into the right funnel. Outbound. So a lot of teams here, they mirror these processes. Outbound is a target who is out, you know, this is more a whale that's swimming, you know, 100 feet from my boat, and I know that I want to talk to this buyer. So all of the qualifying process here, from a high level, I don't want my SDR spending time trying to talk to anyone who I'm not positive is qualified. So I see outbound teams basically, you know, do a bunch of outreach, really quality outreach, try and get someone on the phone, then they get the person on the phone, and instead of passing them into a demo, I've been saying, David, I want to talk to you. David, I want to talk to you. David, I want to talk to you. And David finally says, yes, I'll talk to you. And then I jump on a qualifying call with David and try and put him through the ringer to see if he actually has the guts of what it takes to be a quality buyer. And it makes sense from an epistemological standpoint of like, this is a process thing, but to your buyer just agreed to have a time with you. And so I wouldn't kick off that conversation by qualifying them, because they just agreed to have an appointment with you. So it doesn't feel very good on the buyer end to then jump on a qualifying call and being qualified after they were just hunted for a long period of time. So outbound, I have qualifying all up front. You know, whatever the criteria are for your reps to hit an SQL, whether that's company size, whether that's level of the role in the room, whether that's, you know, integration of what they integrate with, could they be a potential buyer for us? I mean, for instance, there are tools like G2, we have G2 Discover, where you can go through and understand, you know, what tech stack does a company use, but I would deploy whatever means necessary you need to do for your SDR team to understand before they even try to start hunting someone on outbound, is this someone that we absolutely are sure that we, in 98% of the case, that we want to talk to. So you'll have a few outliers here of like, maybe they have, you know, they have some kink in the chain where you can't sell to them. But by and large, you want to do your qualifying up front here before you even talk to the buyer. So, I mean, there's two different things to consider here. Number one is conversion. But the other piece is you want to be really, really great to your buyers. You know, you want your buyers to walk into an appointment with a process that makes sense, and that when they come on to the call with the AE, that there is enough information for the AE to have context, but you also want your buyer to be smiling when they walk through the door. So my experience, you know, a big piece in that is basically how you treat them through the funnel and what process you put them through. So that's it. In review, the two qualification processes are for inbound. If it's a highly qualified buyer and you figure that out either through data enrichment or the SDR research, I would get them straight into an appointment with an AE. If it's questionable buyer intent or they're probably not a buyer, I would jump on a qualifying call and route them accordingly. And on outbound, I would answer all of my qualifying criteria before I even start to do outreach to them. So hope this was helpful. For more information on this topic or topics like this, I'm excited to announce that I'm going to be speaking at the Sales Development Conference on August 23rd. So if you want to hear more, more thoughts like this, go to tenbound.com/conference to register and see you on the 23rd.